Hi, this is Mark with Bond Studios. Last night we took this board, this red oak, and I finished it what's called Ceruse finish, and I put the black monocoat, it's called Intense Black Rubio monocoat, on, and then the idea was then to put on this neutral one coat white oil with hardener, and the idea is that the white would remain in the grain that's more open on the red oak, because as you know, red oak has a very open pores type of a wood, hardwood. So I didn't get the color contrast that I wanted. You can see some of the white in here if I bring it up closer to the camera, but nothing that's not nearly as predominant as I had hoped for. So from that, I thought a couple of potential issues had arisen. One, you're supposed to rough the surface up a little bit with like a wire brush or something that will help open the pores. I felt that the pores were open enough that it would absorb the white deeper into the pores and then hold the color, but it didn't. So that was one issue that I thought I had, that I didn't rough it up enough. The other thing in last night's video, what I had done was, when I put this white monocoat on here from Nutra one coat actually, I didn't put enough on, I don't believe. I was kind of sparingly with it, thinking that you're just wiping it off anyway, so you don't really need to saturate it. I'm questioning if that was the issue. So what I'm gonna do is to just see if there's any validity in my thought process last night. I took another piece of red oak, this piece here, and this time, one other thing. This I had ran through the drum sander, and I hit it with 220 grit on this drum sander. But again, I thought these pores were open enough. So this particular one, I ran through the joiner, then I ran it through the thickness planer, and that was it. Thinking that it'll be open enough. So that's what this side is like. I didn't do anything with this, didn't rough it up at all, didn't do anything. Just gonna see what it does coming out of the thickness planer. This particular side, what I did today is, you can see I have two notches in here. I put a notch there and a notch there. And then in between that notch, I took this wire brush and I roughed up the surface, and we're gonna see if that makes a difference in just this area right here. I wanna, all the black, insane black is coated this all across, and then I'm gonna take the white and do the same thing. I'm gonna finish it completely all the way across here and take it all off. And I wanna see if there is a little more color variation right in this area here that I had roughed it up. And then I'm gonna be a little more liberal with the white this time. So the two differences are to see if roughing up the surface makes a difference, or if I could just run straight through the planer and not do any surfacing on it, or if I do indeed have to, after running it through the thickness planer, actually rough up the surfaces to get the ceruse finish that I want. The ceruse is gonna make the white contrast in with the grain here. So that being said, let's go ahead and start applying the neutral white. I'm just gonna make sure this is still recording, and it is. Nothing worse than you go through all this and you realize you're just wasting your breath relevant to the recording. So let's go ahead and pour this on there and see what we get. Put that there, and then, like I said, I'm just gonna pour it on. And then start to work it in with this Scotch-Brite pad, spreading it out on here. And then this is supposed to, with the Scotch-Brite pad, work it down into the grain. Those open grain, open pores, I guess, however you want to say it. Now this is what I did last night. See, I don't think I had it really saturated enough. So So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more just to make sure we have enough. All right, that's a fair amount, I believe. Looks like a fair amount. And I learned something. This is really my first time finishing stuff like this. I've never done it before. But in watching the many videos that we all do, YouTube's certainly an educational friend. We talked about taking like a paper towel or like a white ball pad, like such as this, and so a lot of the mistakes that people will make is they'll use a pad like this and they'll try to put this oil on. The problem with that is that this absorbs most of the oil, where if you use the non-abrasive Scotch-Brite pad, it actually moves the material and doesn't really, you get all the material left on the surface that you want to work it into. So I thought that was interesting. So something I learned that I'll not have forever. The other thing last night is right after I rubbed this on, I wiped it off. And I think tonight what I want to do is I'm going to let it sit for a minute before I just go harvesting it right off of there, the excess. I saw a gentleman working with Wes, really cool guy. I saw him do this process. I heard about the Ceruse from Dan over at Carbon Methods. Him and I were talking on the phone, and he had mentioned it. And so, just in conversation. So then I went and looked, searched up. I didn't even know what the hell Ceruse finish was. So anyways, I did a Google search on it. Went into YouTube, grabbed some videos, ran across Wes, like I said, really cool guy. And he did a short video on what it was. He's red oak. I'm using red oak because I have just a tremendous amount of it. Can't really see our shop's kind of a mess, but in the back there, I have a bunch of lumber that I had taken off the property, and I have a bunch of red oak. Red oak's beautiful. It's a fantastic hardwood, but you wanted to try something different with it. So anyways, ended up with this process called Ceruse, C-E-R-U-S-E. Some people call it Ceruse finish, Ceruse. Whichever one you think's cool or care to use. All right, so I've been rubbing this in for quite a while, obviously. I'm gonna try and put a little bit on this end here. I don't know what kind of a finish it's gonna get on the end. I did it on the one last night. And the reason I question it in my head is the top has all these open areas relative to the flat side of the board here. On the end, you don't have any open grain like you do here because it's just you have a cross cut on there. So to show you what it did turn out last night is you can see the different grains through there, figuring, if you will, that shows up, which is kind of cool, depending on how the light hits it. So now, it's actually been on there for 4 or 5 minutes. Now the idea is to wipe it off. So I'm going to start with this white ball rag, and then I'm going to use this until it becomes saturated. I'm going to grab another. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I have some rubber gloves. I want to put those on real quick. These on. Always helps them to go on a little bit easier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the camera so we shoot right onto the surface here so we can kind of actually get a better view up close to what it looks like when it's starting to come off. So let me adjust the camera and bring it in. Let's see, is that too far in? Let's see if I can bring it out just a little bit. Right there. Okay, let me tighten that up. All right, now we're going to pull this off of here and see what it looks like. And hopefully I get that contrast, the Ceruse finished contrast I'm looking for. All right, so let's go ahead and start wiping this off. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's pretty cool. That's definitely way more predominant than it was last night. And see, now I'm like, well, I don't want to wipe too much off. But showing them buffing it off pretty aggressively. I'm going to continue to wipe it off, but there's definitely a tremendous color variation. That Ceruse, that's the Ceruse finish, is that open grains taking the lighter color and embracing it deeper into the wood. This is the one we did last night, and there's quite a contrast difference. So it looks like, well, let's look at that area that I had roughed up. That area, as we talked about right here, I don't know that I see, I can see scratches here across the grains. I would anticipate this area right here to be super predominant and because it's roughed up to take in to pull the white in down inside the core of the wood. But I think this area here is just as contrast as this area is here, which is fantastic because now I don't have to go through this whole process. This would be laborious to have to finish every one of these with constantly roughing up the surface. So really excited about this area here. Now, here's something I'll have to deal with in the future. These are insect holes in here. So what do I do with those, right? Do I fill those in with black epoxy and make black dots in here, or the white? My hip shot is, I don't like the white. I don't like the white speckles like that. So I probably will, in the future, either fill those with black epoxy or CA glue, black CA glue, which I could do ahead of time. But what I'm kind of constricted to right now, because I have the white on here, is do my best to get the white out. Ironically, when I got the black out, there was puddles of it earlier, I actually did this. I turned it upside down and was hitting it, and a lot of the black had come out, which would help me with getting most of this white out of here. Now, what I'll probably do right now, off camera, is take I have a really super tiny, like almost dental scribe, and try and pick out most of the white as I can. Probably go right over top of it after it dries with the black CA glue. But I don't want to take that chance. But anyways, the surface, this really, that's exactly what I was looking for, is that finish right there. So very excited about that. And then what I will do is after this dries, I'll use Carbon Methods nano finish to put on top of it to finish it off. This finish here in itself with the hardener is enough. but we're talking with Dan and that product, it just really sets the finish apart from most anything else that's out there. I notice right now you're just hearing me talking, but pretty happy with how all that turned out. Gonna walk back out. Yeah, you can see way back over there, that's where all this lumber is dried over the last year and a half. So another question I have about this process is, now that I have the white down in the in here, down in the grain, and say I want to sand this a little bit, like hit it with a 220 or 320 to make the surface flatter, and then to put the ceramic nano finish on top of it. I think I'm gonna toy with that idea, and maybe what I'll do is I'll do that on this side, and then so this side obviously I haven't done with the white yet. Getting it everywhere. And I think what I'll do, as I talked about with this side here, is you can see all the little black holes that are in there from the bugs. I'm going to go ahead and fill those with black CA glue before I apply the white and see what that does. I'm not sure which way is better. I don't know if it's better to go CA now, we'll put it over top of this. Maybe, that might be easier. Because by putting the CA on here, if I get a little bit of overflow in these holes and I go to put the white on it, it won't stick. I don't believe. Well, it won't, right? So maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just go ahead and try this. I'll just fill these with black CA glue. But I can see right now that I need to continue removing some of the white off of here. What you really want is these areas right here. This will help with the contrast, is get all of the white off of these areas here by wiping it off. You can see I still have white film right in there, depending on the camera. And if I go ahead and really rub on that, wiping this across there, yeah, you can see I got rid of that white film, grayish coloring, and I get the darker black. But I can see I also got inside there, down there, because I pushed too hard. Anyway, so it's a learning process. Lots to learn. But miles ahead of where I was last night, with this being my very first attempt at it. I didn't really have wood prep. Prep wasn't correct. I don't believe I used enough of the white oil last night on here to get it saturated like this. So lots to learn. A lot of data went into my head tonight with thinking through a little bit of what we did last night and what were the potential failures, and then to go ahead and reenact today to offset those failures to see if we could correct it. And I'm very happy with this, and I think we did exactly what we set out to do, and that is to correct the errors of last night and come up with a better product today. Will I get better at this? Of course, and will it become easier and all that stuff? Yeah, it's all part of learning. So with that, I'm gonna call it a wrap and find my little remote and say goodbye for now. See ya.